Jake Martinez pulled his boat closer to the shore of Lake Clearwater. The morning sun was just rising, painting the water in shades of gold and orange. He had been coming to this lake for 3 years now, testing the water quality and studying the fish that lived here. It was quiet work, but Jake loved it. The lake was peaceful, and he could think clearly here. He opened his testing kit and began to measure the water temperature. Everything seemed normal today. The fish were swimming in their usual patterns, and the water was clear. Jake wrote down his numbers in his notebook. Just like he did every Tuesday and Friday morning, that's when he saw something strange. The water near the far shore began to shimmer. At first, Jake thought it might be the sun playing tricks on his eyes, but then the shimmer grew brighter and the water started to glow with a soft blue light. Jake had never seen anything like it in all his years of studying lakes and rivers. He picked up his binoculars and looked closer. The blue glow was getting stronger, and now he could see ripples spreading across the water. Something was happening. Beneath the surface, something big. Jake started his boat engine and moved closer to investigate. As a marine biologist, he had seen many strange things in water before. Sometimes fish would gather in unusual ways, or algae would create odd colors. But this was different. This light seemed to come from somewhere else entirely. The boat was about 50 feet from the strange area when the water exploded upward. A figure burst through the surface, sending water flying in all directions. Jake's first thought was that someone had been swimming and was now in trouble. But as the figure struggled in the water, Jake realized this was no ordinary person. The being had skin that looked like polished silver, and it gleamed in the morning light. Her arms and legs were longer than a human's, and her fingers seemed to end in small webbed points. Most shocking of all, Jake could see what looked like gills along the sides of her neck, opening and closing as she fought to stay above water. She was clearly drowning. Jake didn't hesitate. He had been a lifeguard during his college years, and his training kicked in immediately. He dove off his boat and into the cold lake water, swimming hard toward the struggling figure. As he got closer, he could see her more clearly. She had large eyes that were a deep violet color, unlike any eyes he had ever seen. Her hair was long and white, floating around her head like seaweed. Strange markings covered her arms and face, and they seemed to pulse with a faint light. She was definitely not human, but she was drowning. And that was all that mattered to Jake. He reached her just as she was going under for what might have been the last time. Jake grabbed her around the chest and pulled her head above water. She was heavier than he expected, and her skin felt smooth and cool, like touching a wet stone. The alien girl was unconscious now, her violet eyes closed. Jake could see that she wasn't breathing the way humans do. Her gills were opening and closing rapidly, but no water was moving through them properly. She was suffocating. Jake began swimming back to shore, pulling the strange girl with him. It was hard work. She was tall, maybe 6 feet, and her body was dense with muscle. But Jake was a strong swimmer, and he was determined to save her. When he finally reached the shallow water near the shore, Jake carefully lifted the alien girl and carried her onto the sandy beach. He had never seen anything like her before, but his medical training told him what to do. He knelt beside her and checked for signs of life. Her chest was rising and falling, but very weakly. The gills on her neck were barely moving. Jake realized that she might breathe differently than humans do. Instead of regular mouth-to-mouth breathing, Jake gently placed his hands on either side of her neck and began to massage the gill structures. He could feel them flutter under his touch. Then he pressed gently on her chest, trying to help her body push out any water that might be trapped inside. For several long minutes, nothing happened. Jake began to worry that he was too late. Then suddenly the alien girl coughed violently. Strange, glowing liquid came from her mouth and gills. It looked like water, but it sparkled with the same blue light he had seen in the lake. She opened her eyes and looked directly at Jake. For a moment, neither of them moved. Jake found himself staring into those amazing violet eyes, and he could see intelligence there. She was clearly afraid, but also curious about him. She tried to sit up, but she was still weak from nearly drowning. Jake held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "It's okay," he said softly. "You're safe now. I'm not going to hurt you." The alien girl tilted her head and listened to his words. Then she spoke, and her voice was like music. It was a language Jake had never heard before, full of sounds that seemed to flow like water. She spoke for almost a minute, and Jake could hear different emotions in her voice. Gratitude, confusion, and maybe a little fear, Jake pointed to himself. "Jake," he said clearly, "my name is Jake." The alien girl seemed to understand. She pointed to herself and made a sound that was like a gentle breeze through leaves. "Zara," Jake repeated, trying to copy the sound. She nodded and smiled, and Jake was surprised to see that her teeth were perfectly white and very sharp. Zara tried to stand up, but her legs weren't steady yet. Jake helped her, and he noticed that she was much taller than he first thought. Standing up, she was almost as tall as he was, and Jake was 6 feet tall himself. Her skin was still glowing faintly, and Jake could see now that the markings on her arms and face were like tattoos, but they seemed to be alive. They pulsed with soft light, sometimes blue, sometimes purple, sometimes green. Jake looked around the beach. His boat was still floating nearby, and he could see his testing equipment scattered where he had dropped it. But all of that seemed unimportant now. He had just saved the life of someone who was clearly not from Earth. Zara was looking around too, and Jake could see that she was studying everything carefully. Her large eyes moved from the trees to the sky to the water, as she seemed to be taking mental notes about everything she saw. Then she looked back at Jake and spoke again in her musical language. She reached into what looked like a small pouch attached to her waist, and pulled out a device that was about the size of a smartphone. It was made of the same silver material as her skin, and it glowed softly. She held the device up and pointed it at Jake, then at herself. The device made a soft humming sound, and suddenly Jake could hear English words mixed in with her alien language. "Thank you," she said, and though her accent was strange, Jake could understand her clearly. "You saved my life." Jake stared at her in amazement. "You can speak English?" Zara held up the device. "Learning machine," she explained. "I study your words from your voice. Fast learning." Jake realized that he was looking at technology far beyond anything humans had created. This device had learned English just by listening to him speak for a few minutes. "Where are you from?" Jake asked it. Zara looked up at the sky, then back at Jake. "Very far," she said. "My ship fell down into your water. I was trapped inside when it sank, could not get out." She touched her neck where the gills were. "Your air is different, hard to breathe." Jake understood now. Zara's ship had crashed into the lake and she had been trapped inside it. When she finally escaped, she couldn't breathe properly in Earth's atmosphere and had started to drown. "Are there others?" Jake asked. "Other people like you?" Zara's expression became sad. "No, only me. Others died when ship crashed." Jake felt a wave of sympathy for this strange, beautiful being. She was alone, far from home, and the only survivor of what must have been a terrible accident. "Come on," Jake said, gesturing toward his small research cabin that sat near the shore. "Let's get you somewhere safe. We need to figure out what to do next." As they walked toward the cabin, Jake couldn't help but think that his quiet life as a marine biologist had just become much more complicated. He had no idea that this simple act of rescuing a drowning stranger would change everything. Jake led Zara to his small research cabin by the lake. The wooden building was simple but comfortable, with large windows that looked out over the water. Jake used it as his base when he was studying the lake, and it had everything he needed for his work. Zara walked slowly, still weak from her near drowning. Jake noticed that she moved differently than humans do. Her steps were longer and more graceful, like she was used to moving through water rather than on land. Her silver skin still glowed faintly in the morning light. Inside the cabin, Jake pulled out a chair for Zara. She sat down carefully, looking around at everything with great interest. Her violet eyes took in every detail of the room, the computers, the scientific equipment, the books on the shelves, and the pictures of fish and marine life on the walls. "Water?" Jake asked, holding up a glass. Zara nodded, and Jake filled the glass from his water filter. When he handed it to her, she sniffed it first, then took a small sip. Her face showed surprise, then pleasure. "Good water," she said, her English getting better with each word. Very clean, not like water in my ship. Jake sat down across from her. Tell me about your ship. What happened? Zara held up her silver device again. It hummed softly as she spoke, and Jake could hear it translating her words into English in real time. My ship is small, she began, only for 3 people. We came to study your world's water. Your oceans, your lakes, your rivers, water is very important to my people. Your people? Jake asked. We are called Kithara, Zara explained. We live? Far away among the stars. Our world is mostly water, like yours, but different. We have been watching your world for a long time. Jake felt a chill run down his spine. Watching us? You mean like spying? Zara shook her head quickly. No, not spying, studying, learning. Your world is beautiful and your people are interesting. We wanted to understand how you live with your water. She took another sip of water, then continued. My team was sent to collect samples from your lakes and oceans. We were supposed to stay hidden, never let your people see us. But something went wrong. What happened? Big storm in space, Zara said, struggling to find the right words. Energy from your sun hit our ship. All our systems stopped working. We fell from the sky and crashed into this lake. Jake tried to imagine it. A spaceship falling from the sky, crashing into the quiet lake where he did his research every week. When did this happen? 3 days ago, Zara said. At night when no one was here, the ship sank to the bottom of the lake. I was trapped inside, hurt. My friends were killed when we crashed. Jake saw tears in her violet eyes. Even though she was alien, her sadness was something he could understand. I'm sorry, he said softly. Zara wiped her eyes. I tried to fix the ship, but I could not. Yesterday I finally got out, but I was weak. I could not breathe your air properly. I was drowning when you found me. How long can you stay out of water? Jake asked. My people can breathe air, but not for a long time, Zara explained. We need to be in water often or we get sick, but your water is different from ours. It does? Not have what we need. Jake thought about this. As a marine biologist, he knew that different species needed different things from water. What do you need? Maybe I can help. Zara looked surprised. You want to help me? Of course, Jake said. You're hurt and alone. It's the right thing to do. Zara stared at him for a long moment. Most species would not help stranger from far away. They would be afraid or they would want something in return. Well, I'm not most species, Jake said with a smile. I'm human. We help people who need help. Zara's expression changed. She looked at Jake with new interest as if she was seeing him for the first time. This is why my people have been watching. Yours, she said quietly. What do you mean? Your people do things that surprise us, Zara explained. You help strangers. You save animals. You take care of your sick and old. Not all species do these things. Jake felt proud but also curious. How many other species are there? Out there, among the stars? Many, Zara said. Hundreds that we know about. Thousands, maybe. Most care only about themselves. They fight wars, take what they want, destroy things for no reason, but your people are different. We fight wars too, Jake said honestly. We're not perfect. Yes, but you also do good things, Zara said. You try to save your world. You make art and music. You explore space not to conquer, but to learn. This is rare. Jake was quiet for a moment, thinking about what she had said. Then he remembered something important. You said you need special water. What kind? Zara held up her device and spoke in her own language. The device projected a hologram above its surface, showing what looked like a chemical formula. This is what my people need, she said. Minerals and tiny life forms that exist in our home water. Jake studied the hologram. As a scientist, he could understand some of it. I might be able to help with this. I have equipment here that can change the chemistry of water, and I know where to find the minerals you need. You would do this? Zara asked. Yes, Jake said, but it will take time. Can you survive that long? Zara nodded. I can live for several days, maybe a week if I am careful, but I will get weaker. Jake. stood up. Then let's get started. But first, I need to know, are there other ships coming to look for you? Zara's expression became sad again. No, my people do not know what happened to us. We were supposed to stay hidden and return home quietly. When we do not return, they will think we chose to stay and study longer. How long before they expect? You back? Many months, Zara said. Maybe a year. Jake realized that Zara was truly alone. No one was coming to rescue her, and her ship was broken at the bottom of the lake. She was completely dependent on his help. Okay, he said. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to help you survive until we can figure out how to get you home. But you have to promise me something. What? You have to stay hidden? If other humans find out about you, it could cause big problems. There are people who might want to hurt you, or study you, or use you for their own purposes. Zara nodded. I understand. My people told us to avoid contact with humans for this reason. Good, my cabin is private and I live alone. You can stay here while we work on a solution. Over the next few hours, Jake worked to make Zara more comfortable. He used his equipment to create water with the right mineral balance for her needs. It wasn't perfect, but it was much better than regular lake water. Zara showed him more holographic images from her device. Pictures of her home world, which was covered in deep blue oceans and floating cities. Images of her people, who all had the same silver skin and violet eyes, but came in different sizes and shapes. My job on my world is like yours, Zara explained. I study life in water, plants, animals, tiny creatures. When we learned about your world, I wanted to come here to see your water life. What do you think of Earth's marine life? Jake asked. Zara's eyes lit up. Amazing! So different from ours, but so beautiful. Your fish have colors we never see on my world. Your coral reefs are like cities of living art. Your whales sing songs that reach across oceans. Jake found himself smiling. It was wonderful to meet someone who shared his love of marine life, even if she was from another world. I have been watching your people study the oceans, Zara continued. You work hard to understand and protect your water life. This is good. This is why my people are interested in yours. What do you mean? Zara hesitated, as if she was deciding whether to tell him something important. My people are part of something bigger, she said finally. A group of species that work together among the stars. We watch other worlds and other species. When we find people who care about life and try to protect it, we help them. Help them how? Different ways. Sometimes we protect their world from dangers they cannot see. Sometimes we share knowledge. Sometimes we invite them to join us among the stars. Jake felt his heart start to beat faster. Are you saying your people might want to help humanity? Maybe, Zara said. But first, we need to know more about your people. We need to see how you act when no one is watching. How you treat strangers. How you care for things that are different from you. Jake looked at Zara and realized that he might be taking part in some kind of test. His actions over the next few days could affect the future of all humanity. Well, he said, I guess we'd better make sure you stay healthy and safe. We have a lot of work to do. As the sun set over Lake Clearwater, Jake and Zara sat together, planning how to survive the coming days. Neither of them knew that their meeting would change both their worlds forever. 3 days had passed since Jake rescued Zara from the lake. During that time, they had worked together to make her stronger and healthier. Jake had created special water mixtures that helped Zara breathe better, and she had taught him words. In her language. Each day, Zara seemed more comfortable around Jake. She smiled more often and asked him many questions about human life. Jake found himself enjoying her company. Despite being from another world, she was curious and kind. Much like the marine biologists he worked with, on the 4th morning, Jake woke up to find Zara sitting by the window, holding her silver device. The device was glowing brighter than usual, and it was making soft beeping sounds. What's happening? Jake asked. Zara looked up at him with excitement in her violet eyes. My people, she said. They are trying to contact me. The device is working better now. Jake felt his stomach tighten. Are you going to answer them? I must, Zara said. They will be worried when they cannot find me. She touched the device, and suddenly the air above it filled with light. A three-dimensional image appeared, showing the face of another Kithara. This one was older than Zara, with silver skin that had golden markings and eyes that were deep blue instead of violet. The older Kithara spoke in the musical language that Jake had learned to recognize. Zara answered, and Jake could hear worry in her voice. The conversation went on for several minutes, with both of them speaking rapidly. Finally, the image faded, and Zara turned to Jake. "My father is coming," she said. "He will be here soon." "Your father?" Jake asked. "Is he angry that you contacted humans?" "He is surprised," Zara said, "but not angry. He wants to meet you." Jake felt nervous. Meeting one alien had been amazing, but meeting more of them seemed much more serious. "Will he be upset that I know about you?" "No," Zara said. "I told him what you did, how you saved me from drowning, how you helped me without asking for anything in return. He wants to thank you." An hour later, Jake heard a sound unlike anything he had ever experienced. It was like wind chimes mixed with distant thunder. He looked out the window and saw something that made his breath catch in his throat. 3 ships were landing on the lake. They were beautiful, looking like they were made of liquid silver. They moved through the air without making any noise, and they settled on the water's surface like giant birds. "They're here," Zara said. Jake watched as figures emerged from the ships. They all looked like Zara, but each one was different. Some were taller, some shorter. Some had golden markings like the one Jake had seen on the communication device. Others had blue or green markings. One of them walked on the water's surface toward the shore. Jake blinked, thinking his eyes were playing tricks on him. But no, the Kithara was actually walking on top of the water, his feet creating small ripples with each step. "How is he doing that?" Jake asked. "Special shoes," Zara explained. "They use the same force that makes our ships fly." The Kithara reached the shore and walked up to the cabin. He was tall and dignified, with golden markings that glowed softly on his silver skin. His blue eyes were kind but serious. Zara stood up and spoke to him in their language. Jake could hear respect and love in her voice. This was clearly her father. The older Kithara looked at Jake and smiled. Then he spoke, and Jake was surprised to hear perfect English. "You are Jake Martinez," he said. "I am Admiral Kef, commander of the Kithara Exploration Fleet. You saved my daughter's life." Jake didn't know what to say. "Yes, sir. I couldn't just let her drown." Admiral Kef studied Jake carefully. "Most beings would have been afraid. They would have run away or tried to capture her. But you risked your life to save a stranger who was clearly not of your species." "It was the right thing to do," Jake said simply. Admiral Kef nodded slowly. "Yes, it was. And that is why I am here." He gestured toward the ships on the lake. "We have been watching your world for many years, Jake Martinez. We have been waiting for proof that your species is ready to know about the larger universe." Jake felt confused. "Ready for what? Sit down," Admiral Kef said. "I have much to tell you." Jake sat down, his heart beating fast. Zara sat beside him, and Admiral Kef took the chair across from them. "Your world is not alone," Admiral Kef began. "There are thousands of worlds with intelligent life scattered across the galaxy. Some species are peaceful, others are not. Some care about protecting life, others destroy everything they touch." Jake listened carefully, trying to understand. "Long ago, the peaceful species formed a group called the Cosmic Preservation Union. We work together to protect worlds, share knowledge, and help species that show promise." "What kind of promise?" Jake asked. "The promise of compassion," Admiral Kef said. "The ability to care for others, even those who are different from you. The wisdom to protect life rather than destroy it." Admiral Kef stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the lake. "Your species has been under consideration for membership in the Union for over 100 years. We have watched your wars, your art, your science, your kindness to animals. We have seen great good and great evil in your people. So you've been testing us?" Jake asked. "In a way, yes," Admiral Kef said. "But not by creating artificial situations. We watch how you behave when you think no one is looking, how you treat strangers, how you care for your world. Zara spoke up. My mission to study your water was real, but it was also a test. If any of your people found me, we wanted to see what they would do. Jake looked at her with new understanding. You mean my rescue of you was ... A test that you passed perfectly, Admiral Kef said. You showed the exact kind of compassion that the Union looks for. Jake felt overwhelmed. So what happens now? Admiral. Kef returned to his chair. Now I must tell you something that your people do not know. Your world has been in danger for many years. What kind of danger? Other species that are not as peaceful as we are. They have been watching your world too, waiting for the right time to invade. Your people have no weapons that could stop them. Jake felt cold. Why haven't they attacked? Because we have been protecting you, Admiral Kef said. The Union has. Ships stationed around your solar system. We have been turning away hostile visitors and hiding your world from those who would harm it. But you can't do that forever, Jake said. No, we cannot. That is why your people must be ready to join. The Union, only as members can you be truly safe. Jake tried to process everything he was hearing. What would membership mean? It would mean access to technology that could heal your world, Admiral Kef said. Your oceans are dying, your air is becoming poisonous, your climate is changing. We have solutions to all of these problems, and in return, your people would help us explore the galaxy. Humans have qualities that are rare among intelligent species. You are curious, brave, and surprisingly adaptable. You would be valuable members of our exploration teams. Jake looked at Zara, who was smiling at him. Is this what you meant when you said your people help others? Yes, she said. We help many species become part of the Union. Each one made our group stronger. Admiral Kef leaned forward. But there is a problem, Jake Martinez. Your people are not united. Your world has many different governments, many different beliefs. How can we make contact with all of them? Jake thought about this. Earth's governments often disagreed about everything. How could they possibly agree about joining an alien alliance? We need someone to help us, Admiral Kef continued. Someone who understands both your people and ours. Someone who has already proven that humans and Cathara can work together. Jake suddenly understood what Admiral Kef was suggesting. You want me to be some kind of ambassador? We want you to be the first human to visit our world, Admiral Kef said, to learn about the Union and help us figure out how to safely introduce your species to the galaxy. Jake felt dizzy. I'm just a marine biologist. I study fish and water quality. I'm not a diplomat. You are exactly what we need, Admiral. Kef said, you are a scientist, so you understand the importance of learning. You are compassionate, so you care about protecting life. And you have already proven that you can work with us. Zara reached over and took Jake's hand. You don't have to decide right now, she said, but think about it. This could be the most important decision in your species' history. Jake looked out at the silver ships floating on the lake where he had been conducting simple water tests just a few days ago. His quiet life was about to change forever, and the choices he made would affect all of humanity. How long do I have to think about it? He asked. As long as you need, Admiral Kef said, but not too long. There are forces in the galaxy that will not wait forever. As the sun set over Lake Clearwater, Jake realized that he was no longer just a marine biologist. He was about to become the bridge between two worlds. Jake spent the night thinking about Admiral Kef's offer. He walked around the lake in the moonlight, trying to understand what it would mean to leave Earth and travel to another world. The three silver ships floated quietly on the water, their soft glow reflecting on the surface like fallen stars when morning came. Jake found Admiral Kef and Zara waiting for him at the cabin. They had prepared breakfast using food from their ships, strange fruits that tasted like honey and bread. That was light as air, but very filling. Have you made your decision? Admiral Kef asked gently. I have questions first, Jake said. If I go with you, what exactly would I be doing? Admiral Kef set down his cup of tea. You would spend 2 years on our homeworld, learning about the Union and the different species that belong to it. You would study our technology, our history, and our ways of making peace between different worlds. 2 years, Jake repeated. That's a long time. It is necessary, Admiral Kef said. You would need to understand not just the Kithara, but dozens of other species. Each one thinks differently, communicates differently, has different needs and customs. Zara added, you would also learn about the dangers that exist in the galaxy. There are species that would destroy Earth just to take its resources. Others that would enslave your people. You need to understand these threats to help protect your world. Jake nodded. And after 2 years I would come back to Earth? Yes, Admiral Kef said. You would return as Earth's first ambassador to the Union. You would help us make contact with your world's leaders and guide the process of bringing humanity into the galactic community. What if Earth's governments don't want to join? Jake asked. Kef's expression became serious. Then your world will remain unprotected. The hostile species I mentioned are growing bolder. They have been testing our defenses around your solar system. Without Union protection, Earth would not survive. Jake felt the weight of the decision pressing down on him. You're saying I have to choose between leaving my world for 2 years or watching it be destroyed? We are saying that your choice could help save your world, Zara said softly. But there is another option. Jake looked at her with surprise. What option? Zara glanced at her father, who nodded for her to continue. I could stay on Earth, she said. I could work with your scientists and leaders to prepare them for first contact. While you are learning about our world, I would be helping your world get ready. But that would mean you couldn't go home, Jake said. Not for a long time, Zara. Agreed. Maybe not ever. If I stay, I would be giving up my life among my people to help yours. Jake stared at her. Why would you do that? Because I believe in what we are trying to do, Zara said. I have studied your world for years from our ships. I have watched your people struggle with problems that we could help solve. Your oceans are becoming too warm, your ice caps are melting, your weather is becoming dangerous. We have technology that could fix these things, Admiral Kef spoke up. Your people have great potential, Jake, but you are running out of time to save your world. Climate change is happening faster than your scientists predicted. In 50 years, much of your planet could be uninhabitable. Unless we help, Zara said. We have machines that can clean your oceans and your air. We have energy sources that produce no pollution. We have ways to cool your planet and restore your ice caps. Jake felt hope and fear at the same time. The technology they were describing could save Earth, but it would mean depending on aliens for survival. What would happen to human independence? Jake asked. Would we become subjects of the Union? No, Admiral Kef said firmly. Every species in the Union governs itself. We share technology and knowledge, but each world makes its own decisions. The Union only steps in when one species threatens another, and humans would have equal status with other species. Eventually, yes. New members start as observers, learning how the Union works. After they prove they can follow our laws of peace and cooperation, they become full members with voting rights. Jake walked to the window and looked out at the lake. This was where his normal life had ended and this incredible journey had begun. In just a few days, he had gone from studying water quality to deciding the fate of humanity. If I go with you, Jake said, how will I communicate with people back on Earth? How will I know what's happening here? We have communication systems that work across any distance instantly, Admiral Kef explained. You would be able to talk to Zara every day. You could also monitor Earth's news and stay connected with your friends and family. What about my job? My life here? We would help you arrange things so that your absence doesn't cause problems, Admiral Kef said. We are very good at making people believe natural explanations for unusual events. Jake turned back to face them. And if I say no, if I decide this is all too much? Admiral Kef and Zara exchanged glances. Then we would respect your choice, Admiral Kef said. But we would have to find another way to help your world. It might take much longer, and time is something Earth does not have much of. How long do I have to decide? Jake asked. One more day, Admiral Kef said. My ships cannot stay hidden much longer. Your military satellites are beginning to notice us. That afternoon, Zara took Jake out on the lake in one of the smaller Cathara ships. It was like nothing Jake had ever experienced. The ship moved without any sound or vibration, and it could go underwater as easily as it moved through the air. This is what your people could have, Zara said as they glided beneath the surface of the lake. Ships that never pollute, never crash, never run out of fuel. Jake watched fish swimming around the ship, completely unafraid. How does it work? We use the same energy that holds atoms together, Zara explained. It is clean and unlimited. One small generator could power your entire planet. They surfaced near the spot where Jake had rescued Zara. The wreckage of her original ship was visible on the lake bottom. Do you regret coming to Earth? Jake asked. Zara was quiet for a moment. I regret that my friends died, but I do not regret meeting you. You showed me that humans are everything my people hoped you would be. I'm just one person, Jake said. There are humans who are much better than me, and others who are much worse. That is true of every species, Zara said. But the fact that people like you exist gives us hope for your entire species. They returned to the cabin as the sun was setting. Admiral Kef was waiting with a meal and a small device that looked like a crystal cube. What's that? Jake asked. A memory recorder. Admiral Kef said. If you decide to come with us, this will help you learn our language and customs much faster. It can transfer knowledge directly into your mind. Jake picked up the cube. It was warm to the touch and seemed to pulse with inner light. Is it safe? Perfectly safe, Admiral Kef assured him. We have used this technology for thousands of years. As they ate dinner, Jake asked more questions about the Union, about Cathara society, and about what his life would be like on their world. Admiral Kef answered everything patiently and honestly. I need to ask you something, Jake said finally. Why me? Why not contact our governments directly? Why not choose someone more important? Admiral Kef smiled. Because importance is not the same as worth. Your world's leaders are often chosen for their ability to gain power, not for their wisdom or compassion. You were chosen because of what you did when you thought no one was watching, but I'm not qualified for this, Jake said. I don't know anything about diplomacy or politics. You know the most important thing, Zara said. You know how to care about others even when they are different from you. That night, Jake lay awake thinking about the choice before him. He could stay on Earth and continue his quiet life as a marine biologist. Or he could take the biggest risk of his life and travel to the stars. By morning, he had made his decision. When Admiral Kef and Zara found him at sunrise. Jake was standing by the lake, holding the memory recorder. I'll do it, he said. I'll go with you. Admiral Kef smiled with relief. You will not regret this choice, Jake Martinez. I hope not, Jake said. When do we leave? Today, Admiral Kef said. The longer we wait, the more dangerous it becomes. Jake looked at Zara. Are you sure about staying here? She nodded. I am sure. Someone needs to prepare your world for what is coming. As Jake packed his few belongings, he realized that he was about to become the first human to leave the solar system. Everything he did from now on would affect the future of his entire species. The quiet marine biologist who had rescued a drowning stranger was about to become humanity's voice among the stars. 2 years later, Jake stood on the observation deck of Admiral Kef's flagship as it approached Earth. The blue and green planet looked more beautiful than he had ever imagined it could. After 24 months on the Cathara homeworld and visiting dozens of other worlds in the Union, seeing Earth again made his heart race with excitement. Home looks good, Zara said, joining him at the viewing window. She had changed during their time apart. Her silver skin had taken on a slight blue tint from spending so much time in Earth's oceans, and she had learned to wear human clothing when working with Earth scientists. How has it been? Jake asked. Really? Zara smiled. Difficult at first. Your governments were suspicious when I revealed myself to selected scientists. But when I showed them what our technology could do to help clean the oceans, they began to listen. Jake had been talking to Zara regularly through the instant communication system, but seeing her in person again felt wonderful. During his time away, she had become his closest friend and connection to home. The ocean restoration project worked better than we hoped, Zara continued. The Pacific garbage patch is completely gone. The coral reefs are healthier than they have been in 50 years. Fish populations are returning to areas where they had disappeared. Jake looked down at Earth's oceans, which did indeed look cleaner and bluer than he remembered. And the governments? Are they ready for official contact? Most of them, yes. There are still some who are afraid, but the benefits of our technology have been too obvious to ignore. When we stopped the hurricane that was heading for Florida, and when we helped put out the forest fires in California, even the skeptics began to change their minds. The past 2 years had been the most incredible experience of Jake's life. On the Kithara homeworld, he had lived in floating cities that rode on endless blue oceans. He had learned to communicate with dozens of different alien species, each with their own unique way of thinking and living. The memory recorder had helped him learn the common language of the Union in just a few weeks. After that, he had studied galactic history, diplomacy, and the technology that held the Union together. He had visited worlds covered in crystal forests, planets where the cities floated in gas clouds, and space stations the size of moons. Most importantly, he had learned about the threats that existed in the galaxy. Species like the Vaxxan Empire, which consumed entire worlds for their resources, and the Machine Collective, which turned living beings into mechanical slaves. The Union had been fighting these threats for thousands of years, protecting peaceful worlds like Earth. The Union Council is eager to meet with Earth's leaders, Jake said. But are Earth's leaders ready to meet them? We will find out soon, Zara said. I have been working with representatives from every major government. They have agreed to attend the first official contact meeting. Jake felt nervous. Everything he had learned over the past 2 years would be put to the test in the next few days. If the meeting went well, Earth would become part of the galactic community. If it went badly, humanity might lose its only chance for protection and advancement. The ship landed in the same lake where Jake had first met Zara. It seemed fitting that humanity's introduction to the galaxy would happen at the place where it all began. Jake could see his old research cabin, but now it was surrounded by a large temporary facility that Zara and Earth scientists had built together. As Jake stepped onto Earth's soil for the first time in 2 years, he was greeted by people he had never expected to see. The President of the United States, the Prime Minister of Canada, representatives from China, Russia, Brazil, and dozens of other countries. They had all come to meet the first human to travel to the stars, Mr. Martinez, the President said, shaking Jake's hand. Welcome home. We are eager to hear what you have learned. Over the next 3 days, Jake shared everything he had experienced with Earth's leaders. He showed them holographic recordings of other worlds, demonstrated Union technology, and explained the benefits and responsibilities of membership. The world leaders were amazed by what they saw. Technology that could provide unlimited clean energy, medicine that could cure diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries, and transportation systems that could take humans to the stars. But Jake also explained the dangers. The hostile species I told you about are real, he said. Without Union protection, Earth would be defenseless against them. They have weapons that could destroy our planet in minutes. What exactly would membership in this union require from U.S.? Asked the representative from China. 3 things, Jake explained. First, we must agree never to use our technology to harm other peaceful species. Second, we must contribute to the Union's defense against hostile forces. Third, we must help explore and protect new worlds. And in return, we get protection, technology that will solve our environmental problems, and the chance to explore the galaxy as equals with thousands of other species. The discussions went on for hours each day. Some leaders were excited about the possibilities. Others were worried about losing Earth's independence. Jake answered every question as honestly as he could, drawing on everything he had learned during his time with the Union. On the final day, Admiral Kef arrived with a delegation of representatives from other Union species. Jake had helped choose them carefully, species that looked friendly and non-threatening to humans, but that demonstrated the diversity of the galactic community. The meeting took place in a large tent by the lake. Jake served as translator and mediator, helping both sides understand each other. It was the most important conversation in human history. "We offer your species something that few worlds ever receive," Admiral Kef told Earth's leaders. "The chance to join the galactic community, not as subjects or servants, but as partners." "Why us?" asked the Prime Minister of Britain. "What makes humanity special?" Admiral Kef looked at Jake, who answered, "Because humans have something that many advanced species lose as they develop technology, compassion for strangers. Most species become focused only on their own survival and progress. But humans still care about others, even those who are different from them." "The rescue of my daughter is just one example," Admiral Kef added. "We have watched humans risk their lives to save animals, help strangers, and protect their environment. These qualities are rare and valuable in the galaxy." The representative from Japan asked, "What happens if we say no?" "Nothing will be forced upon you," Admiral Kef said. "But we cannot protect a world that refuses to join the Union. Eventually, the hostile species will find Earth, and when they do, your people will face them alone." The leaders asked for time to consult with their governments. Jake spent the waiting period with Zara, walking around the lake where their friendship had begun. "Do you think they will agree?" Zara asked. "I think they will," Jake said. "The benefits are too great to refuse, and the dangers of staying alone are too real to ignore." 2 days later, the world leaders announced their decision. By a vote of 94-6, Earth's governments agreed to apply for membership in the Cosmic Preservation Union. The celebration that followed was unlike anything Jake had ever seen. Kithara ships filled the sky, displaying beautiful light patterns. Representatives from dozens of Union worlds arrived to welcome humanity to the galactic community. Jake found himself standing with Zara and Admiral Kef, watching as humans and aliens met for the first time in Earth's history. Scientists compared notes, children played games with young aliens, and world leaders signed the documents that would change humanity's future forever. "It's hard to believe this all started with me jumping into a lake," Jake said. "The greatest changes often begin with the smallest acts of kindness," Admiral Kef replied. "Your simple decision to save a drowning stranger has opened the door to the stars for your entire species." Over the following months, Jake watched as Earth transformed. Union technology cleaned the air and oceans, provided unlimited energy, and began to reverse climate change. Human scientists worked alongside alien researchers, making discoveries that advanced both civilizations. Jake became Earth's first official ambassador to the Union, splitting his time between Earth and the galactic capital. Zara chose to stay on Earth permanently, becoming the first non-human citizen of any Earth nation. The reward for Jake's act of compassion had indeed been beyond beliefs. He had not only gained a friend and saved a life, but he had helped bring humanity into a galactic community that offered protection, knowledge, and friendship among the stars. Years later, when Jake was asked what lesson he had learned from his experience, he always gave the same answer: never underestimate the power of doing the right thing. You never know when a simple act of kindness might change the universe. As Jake stood on the deck of Earth's first interstellar embassy, watching human and alien children play together under alien stars, he knew that the best adventures always begin with choosing to help a stranger in need.